everyone, and welcome back to the final round of the US Open's Invitational Tournaments. I'm Women Grandmaster Sabina Foyshore, very excited to be joined by my wonderful co-host, Grandmaster Caden Trough.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Caden.
Thank
How are you
you.
feeling this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good. Maybe you're still shaking off the sleep a little bit with the earlier round, but I think I'm gonna be feeling the adrenaline of it being the final round and these tough matchups pretty soon.
Okay, yes, I'm excited as well. Maybe we are feeling a little bit tired, but imagine the players, they actually have to go and play there. We just get the chance to comment on their moves, maybe some mistakes here and there, but it's really great to be back with the
Yes.
final round, and we certainly hope you will join us very, very soon here. Um, for those of you who do not know, who are new here, we want to let you know we are at the US Open, which this year is located in a really beautiful place in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Both Kate and I have loved this location. I've loved it the most from, I think I've been at 4 or 5 US Opens. Haven't played, but I've been either visiting or in a commentator's position. And I think this was definitely one of my favorite places. And yeah, I was very excited to call the action with you for the 5 invitational tournaments. So we had the Irwin, which is the seniors tournament,
Yes.
the Herring, I'm gonna just change the order right now a little bit, which is the all
Gotta keep
girls,
everyone on their toes. Yeah.
all girls state champions. We have the Denker, the high school championship, the Barber, the middle school, and the Rockefeller, the last three ones, the actually four of them besides the seniors tournament, the Irwin, do have the chance to win a $5,000 scholarship to the university of their choice, which is amazing.
Yes,
And in
absolutely.
addition, they do represent their state. So I hope they're all excited to be here and are gonna give it their best shot for the final round.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really good fighting chess up to this point, but being the final round, it's kind of an all or nothing at this point. I mean, not fully, but still those scholarships are the main prize as well as all these tournaments have a qualification spot to another tournament.
That's
So
right.
these players are going to be giving everything they can to get that first place.
I think they will, and it is important to note they don't really share first prize, so it has to be the winner, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And you want to give it your best shot so that if you share, the tiebreak is going to decide.
Yeah.
So let's remind everyone the standings of each one of these competitions, Kaden.
Yes, and we'll start with the Danker. Here we have Arthur Guo, who is topping the standings. His last game was one of the most exciting, just all the way through. A very aggressive, very double-edged position. It looked for a moment like Max Liu was going to come out on top, but Arthur Guo found this brilliant tactic with Rook C5 to get the advantage and then went on to win that game. He is going to be playing Gus Huston here.
He is, and Gus is on 4.5. So if if Arthur draws at least that game, he is the champion. If Gus wins, he's gonna be the champion. And if yeah, there's no other results really, unless Arthur wins, then of course he's the champion because he's already half a point ahead. So obviously, uh, did I say Gus or anyways? Arthur is definitely has the edge there in their encounter. However, he does have the black pieces, and as we know, as chess players, a lot of people prefer to play with the white pieces
Yeah.
potentially in the last round. However, I myself have won a few games with the black pieces last round, so could be some pressure going
Right.
into.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the black pieces, do you feel like you can get some extra success by the fact that your opponent feels that need to push for an advantage, feels the need to push for more? And Gus is in that situation. Not only does because have the white pieces, but does have to push for more. It's a bit of an unfortunate circumstance for our other players because it does mean that those will be one of those two will be the victor. They just
Yes,
have too many points ahead of the rest of the field, but that will be the big game to keep an eye on here.
for sure. Let's go on to the barber event where we have also two players sharing first place. They actually played against each other and drew yesterday. We unfortunately missed seeing the game at some point due to some technical difficulties, but we're hoping everything is fixed and ready for today's final round, and we will get to see the the entire games,
Yeah,
the full games.
and it's because these the top two players, both Erics, have already played each other. This tournament is wide open. Both those players could lose, which means the four others sitting with 4 points have something to be fighting for. They are going to be giving it their all. And I mean, a couple of them are playing the leaders, so they need to be able to take them down.
Yes, that's for sure. And we know the highest rated player in this competition, Brewington Hardaway, started this tournament with half a point by due to unforeseen circumstances, probably with his travel. But now he still has the opportunity to actually win this competition as he's playing one of the 4.5 rated players in the player of Eric Fang, and Brewington is the much higher rated player by 233 rating points. So that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of points. But we'll see if he manages to take his opponent down. Also, it's important to note, I think he's doubling black. He played against the black pieces yesterday. He had a really nice win, and now he has to fight once again in the position, starting with the black pieces, which could be an advantage or a disadvantage sometimes, as I said. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
After a few games to keep an eye on there. Moving on to the Ruth Herring. Here, Ru Yang, the top seed, is topping the standings and is going to be playing against Esther here. They have not met up to this point, so that will be the big
encounter,
matchup. And
right?
who has white pieces here?
Jan has the white pieces.
Ah,
She
okay.
so she might have a small edge, but it's important to note that there are 4.5 points, and there are quite a number of players. And when I say quite a number, I mean three players with 4 points. That in case of a tie between Jan and Zhu, are gonna be able to catch up with the leaders, and then it we will have to wait and see which one of them is going to top the standings.
Yeah, and I do want to say for both these players, Yang has been playing really well, has been playing solid chess. Her only draw was actually a really nice hold by Asha Kumar.
Mm-hmm.
We that game came down to the wire, and it felt like at the critical moment, Asha did find the correct defense, their defensive moves. And Esther, we saw, had an amazing attacking game yesterday. Just absolutely beautiful attack.
That's true. That's true. She won her game against Nastasia, right? That was the game.
Yes,
And yeah, finishing off the game with a pawn checkmate in f6. That was
my
definitely
favorite.
yeah. You called it. You called it before it happened. I thought it was gonna be queen capturing in f6, but you proved me wrong. Forget that game. Moving on to the Irvin tournament of senior champions, we had the pairing that you suggested, Kaden. Jesse is sole leader with 4.5, but there are three players really ready to take on that position should Jesse not be able to score a full point today.
Yeah, and you have to credit Enrico Saviano here. Lost in the first round, which his opponent just did play an amazing game, but he has come fighting back, and I have to imagine he's had a bit of a breath of life. Being able to get back is now on the top board. If I were him after losing the first round, I would be over the moon that I at least have a shot
True.
at first place. So that will be a really exciting matchup.
Yeah, and we know that one of these four players, either Jesse Cry, Enrico Sevillano, Nicolas Managadze, or Mark Ginsburg, one of those players is going to win to be declared the winner of the event um, after this round. It's also the final round, but it's certainly going to be someone to look at, and I can't wait to see what Jesse has prepared.
Yeah.
Lastly, let's go on to the Rockefeller Tournament of Elementary Champions, and there is also quite an interesting sending, isn't it?
Yeah, this we have another one where the top two players played and drew already. So people with 4 points, just a half a point below, they have an opportunity. They have a chance to take them down. So things in the Rockefeller still wide open. Lots of possibilities on who can take this victory.
Yes, and what's important to note is that Andrew Jing, who is on 4.5 and the leader at the moment, is playing against Aiden Liu, who was the number one seed in the event. If I'm
Mm,
not mistaken, Aiden had lost in the previous round, so not yesterday, the day before. He had lost his game, but now he is back and hoping for, a final nice win so that he has a shot to potentially winning or tying for first in this event. And we'll have to wait to see the pairings. And lastly, it's important to show everyone, I think, the invitational team standings.
yes.
There's the idea of this is that every single event, every single participant in each event gets some number of points, and then they add up together, and there we have the invitational team. And I believe there's additional prizes for that.
Yeah, and the big thing I would note here is we see at the top of New York, Gus Huston, and at the top of Georgia, Arthur Guo. So those two playing this round is in a large part for them a fight for number one in the Danker, but for their states, they are leading the team. That is going to be a very significant result to decide which state ends up in first and which state falls a bit short.
Yes, I think we're gonna be looking over for that too. But Kaden, enough of this review. We are all excited to see the games, and the moves have started coming up. So without further ado, I suggest let's go into the games and let people know. If you're watching us, let us know where you're watching from, and if you have a particular game you want us to go over, do not hesitate to let us know. We will try our best to get to that game as soon as possible. Um, let's see. Let's start with the top boards, I think, so that we kind of get an idea as to what's gonna happen with the winners.
Yeah, sometimes when we're pulling up these games in these early stages, you kind of take a look at this very first position, think, okay, let's come back in a little bit when things have developed a bit more. But this one already does catch my attention. Here we see the Catalan, this bishop b4 provoking bishop d2 is a common idea in the Catalan here. But
H4. I'm not familiar
h4,
with that move.
I
I've seen it in the London. It's a new idea, and I
yes.
call it. I actually wrote an article for Chess Informant uh, some editions ago, and I called that H4 idea in the London as the new Pillsbury attack idea, because Pillsbury was with F4, but I just feel like the opening has evolved so much that these days they have this idea to push the h pawn, get in the rook, and it just feels like an extension of his idea. I don't know. It was just my take on it.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know if it makes sense.
I feel like h4. I mean, it is a serious move, but it's almost like a meme move at this point. Like if you don't know how to take your opponent out of preparation, you play h4. Like that's becoming a very common move. And of course it is better in some positions than others, but I think the reason h4 is becoming a lot more common is you have openings where black has pushed g6, where you're just trying to break through with h5. But even when your opponent doesn't play this h6 move, you have opportunities to maybe play h5, h6, where that pawn will be a continual thorn in your opponent's side, or yeah, maybe some ideas of knight g5. And if you've been watching chess for quite a while, you may be familiar with an idea like knight g5, h6, and leave the knight there. Allow your opponent to potentially take, where you take, open up the file, and go for a big attack. So h4, he doesn't do anything with it right away. He's actually playing knight c3 here, but I do expect, and it does feel like Gus is preparing for an attack.
That's for sure. And I mean, he has to take his chance. I mean, this is his chance to try to win the event, and the only way you're gonna win this event is by winning the game, because Arthur is on 5 out of 5 and Gus on 4.5. So he really needs this win to really to have a shot at winning the competition. And yeah, you got to start attacking. I think it's kind of nice to see, and you really see the psychological play in this particular game very well. Arthur is comfortable to make a draw, because first of all, he wins the championship, and so he's choosing a solid defense, Meran or triangle Slav, however you want to call it, yourself, kind of system. Obviously it's the Catalan, but it's that kind of system where your pawns are all very well protected, you don't have weaknesses, and you're just kind of waiting for white to open up, and then at some point you will get developed. So no weaknesses, but so leaves white to kind of overextend, but we'll have to wait and see whether that's gonna be an overextension or a really good type of attack.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I feel like that will be the big challenge, or balancing act Arthur will have to play. Obviously, he is in that situation where he is happy with the draw. And when you're in that case, it can be really good technique to play solid, push your opponent to overextending and making some mistakes. But it's a fine balance, right?
Of
You
course.
you want to get them to overextend, but you don't want to just be so patient that you actually allow them to get everything they want. So I think that's part of what Arthur is thinking of right now,
um
and how he wants to take these next few moves.
I agree. Let's go on to the Irving event and check out the opening going on in the game between Jesse Cry and Enrico Sevillano. I think that's a pretty big matchup for us, as Jesse, once again, as we said, is on 4.5. So, he is going. He can draw, or of course, if he wins, then he gets to win this championship. So only a few moves were played, and we had some kind of modern.
Mm.
And bishop d3, I'm not sure how I feel about that move in particular, because I think the bishop would look much better in e2 now. Now that you see e5, you're like, why did I put the bishop there? Couldn't I have, waited one more move? Like, although you don't really have much waiting moves, but
Yeah,
maybe
no,
the other bishop could have been taken out, like bishop e3 or bishop
right.
g5. Or, I mean, there's so many moves. Obviously, it's still early in the game. I feel sometimes it's hard to prepare against the modern. You need to have some kind of good setup, I think, and then just kind of go from there. And I guess we'll find out if Jesse was prepared against this.
I,
or not.
he seems to be playing pretty quickly. Uh, I this whole setup, because you see this setup in from different openings, particularly like a King's Indian or Modern, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like my opponents just play it. Uh, it's not something I feel like I see too much over the board. But for Enrico, who is in a more must-win position, I do like it as it is. It's a flexible option. It's gonna be probably an open position, and while I wouldn't say it is by any means the best opening or one of the top openings, when you need to play for a win, going into a very theoretical battle where maybe you give Jesse the opportunity to play for a draw, definitely not ideal. So I do feel that Enrico maybe saying okay, like I'm not. It's not going to be the best opening, but I'm going to try and avoid your theory and hope that opportunities come up later.
That's totally true. And well, we'll be back to this game. I just wanted to say hi, everyone. Once again, thanks so much for joining us. Hi, US Chess. We still don't know who is behind that account. I mean, it should be us, but clearly neither of us is typing right now. So, whoever you are,
Yeah,
let yourself known. Hi, Chessful. How are you doing? You don't like the modern.
not a
Chessful
fan.
doesn't like the modern. Doesn't like my Gurgenidze either. He doesn't like the Karakan. He likes like the Najdorf and E45 stuff. It's not. You're US chess, yeah,
I am
obviously,
the U.S.
obviously.
chess. Obviously.
You are the US
Oh,
chess.
very nice, very
I have an
nice.
idea who it is, but I'm not super sure. Um, let's go to our ladies tournament or the herring event. Board 13, Jan Riang against Esther Jude, the only two players who are actually, well, actually, they're not the only two, but the two of them are tying for first place, and they went. Actually, I'm surprised by. I did prepare one time against Royang, and I thought she was playing a different line against the French. But okay, this is pretty aggressive. This is certainly an aggressive line with long castle potentially, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe this is not the one. Is this with long castle?
Uh, I I feel you
I put
overestimate
you.
my
I put
knowledge
you.
of the French. No,
I put you
so
on the spot for
I
that one.
I admittedly in the
No.
times I do play the E4, am not the biggest fan of playing against the French. So I'm not gonna say exactly what I do play on those occasions I play against the French, but more of a sideline. I like more of a
Mm.
sidelines. I like getting out of the theory because in the times I have tried to study theory, I feel like it's just weird. I feel like the French by it just looks like it should be a really bad opening because you're blocking your bishop and it's not.
Don't you
And
don't you block it in every single opening with black pretty much almost?
ah
That bishop is just a problem.
no, see I play the Grunfeld where I love my
True,
pieces and I
true.
open my pieces. So I don't know. I just I'm not a big fan of it, but I do understand it is a serious opening and can pose some serious problems. So I try to avoid theory because I just want a game that I can play.
Hmm.
But I do agree without without being too educated on the theory here, it does feel like Gruying is going for a very aggressive
Hmm.
uh opening now, which I think she should. I mean, you have the white pieces. If you win, you guarantee yourself first place. It should be in her court to play that aggressive opening to go for the victory. So I do like this decision.
Okay. I guess you're in the team chessful. I played French in my life, I don't think it's as bad. I felt uncomfortable at times, but I had some nice victories. So I can't not credit the opening at all. And I've played the modern too, so what can I say? I guess I was the more of a lazy person, kind of. French is like you have to know some theory, but in the modern, I was avoiding theory, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of memorizing things, but these days I kind of have to go back to it, which, yeah, is interesting. Um, Pete wants some F5. Okay, sure. F5 is great. You're right. We'll consider that. Space is always a nice present. Yes, I agree. And Keaton, I gotta tell you, I'm surprised. There's already a result.
Whoa.
There's a result on board one.
Whoa. On our what?
Yes. What is going on over there? Let me check a little bit. The players once again, like, so Henry decided to draw his game against Eric Zhao, but like Eric is on 5 points. But if Eric Fang on board two wins his game, he will be the champion. Now, obviously, Brewington could win that game, and then Eric, the other Eric, so Eric Zhao is probably thinking, well, I got a better tiebreak because I actually played an extra round.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they were thinking.
Yeah, so
I don't know if I would
I
make the decision though. Why don't they should next time? I'm gonna make a suggestion next time. 30 move rule or no draws. No draws.
see, but
No,
see,
you
but this,
cannot. You
but
cannot
this,
make
but this is kind of the hard thing is, they make this draw, and you kind of want a draw rule at this point, but I mean, this is a weird decision, right? Like,
Yeah,
if you're Henry here, you should be pushing for a win.
right because you also have a chance to win unless they are friends. But I don't know. Henry is from Northern California, while Eric is from Pennsylvania. Um, I do not know what to say. The bad thing is here. The bad thing is that let's just say Eric is happy with the draw, but I mean they must have calculated or thought about what happens if the other players win because like imagine you take a draw this early. Of course you have the black pieces, so it's a little bit harder. But imagine you take a draw here and someone wins their game and they catch you like they're higher rated than you are. Then what happens? Like you just basically gave up, you didn't fight for your right.
Yeah, no,
That's I
yeah, absolutely. I think in this situation, ah, this is always the conundrum, right? Because I think very rarely in chess do you want to play with a result in mind, or like uh, pushing too much for a draw, because if you just kind of settle yourself, then all of a sudden you're gonna compromise, or you're gonna play safer than you should.
Ooh, but wait a second. All right, let's read the rules for everyone so they have an idea, because maybe this will help understand why they took that decision. What do you say? Is that
Okay,
okay
yeah,
if I do
yeah.
that? So for the college slash university scholarships, the first place finisher in each event will receive a $5,000 college slash university scholarship. Second and third place finishers will receive $3,000 and $2,000 respectively. So they still receive something for the other places. I feel like okay, there's quite some difference. If there is a tie, then the scholarship will be awarded to the highest finisher based on tie breaks. So, they still get something. I guess they secure something in a way, but, you know, the scholarship will not be split. This is something we knew about. A recipient may use the scholarship at any school of higher learning. To redeem the scholarship, a recipient must provide proof of enrollment in an institution of higher learning, prove standing as at least a half-time student, and claim the scholarship prior to the recipient's 26th birthday. So this is how they roll. And there will be a few other awards that I want to mention now. I feel like it's the time, as the games haven't really gotten that serious. Although, what is Pete saying? Nobody fight. Okay, so chess rules. That's definitely accurate. Nobody fights for the right to party anymore. Okay, Pete. If you play for a draw, you will surely lose. If you play for a win, you might draw. Yeah. I like that statement. I don't know who said that. If it's your quote or someone else's, but I like that statement. I
Yeah.
think. All right. So for the Rockefeller, There's a 8 and under chess award as well. There's a $500 Rockefeller and under chess award that will be presented to the highest finisher at 8 years old or younger as the first day of the tournament, which is really nice.
It's awesome.
For the Barber 11 and under chess award, a $500 Barber 11 and under chess award will be presented to the highest finisher of 11 years old or younger as the first day of the tournament. This is kind of nice. Then we gotta mention there's a Ursula Foster Memorial Awards for both the Herring and the Denker. And there are two $500 Ursula Foster Memorial Awards, which will be presented, one to the highest herring finisher, 12-year-old or younger, of the first day of the tournament, and the other to the highest Denker finisher. This is also an extra bonus, and these are, you know, really nice to see. There will be gift certificates as well, and there is also a cash prize for the top 5 finishers in each scholastic event. We receive cash prizes of $800 for the first place, $500, $400, $300, and $200, which is really nice. The money, okay, this will be separate, but it can benefit their college. I don't know. That's up to them what they decide to do with the money. I would put
Yes.
it towards college, considering that in the U.S. it's quite pricey.
Yes.
I'm thankful to have been able to to receive a full scholarship here in the U.S. and study for college, but I know of a lot of people who might receive scholarships, but they still have to pay for housing, food, and still be able to pursue their chess. It's not easy. So I really
Yes.
love the idea of providing these scholarships because chess and education, I feel that they go together. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're definitely seeing that more and more and more emphasis on the correlation between chess and education, and that chess does teach you some very powerful skills and helps you develop some very, very powerful skills that then apply to education. So I think these tournaments for that are excellent in
I
fighting for scholarships.
I agree. And the last thing that I'm going to mention before we go back to the games is that is my favorite. This is my favorite prize, and this is something that I lost my mom a few years back, and my dad and we thought, how can we remember her? How do we do it for people to remember her? Because she had a really big legacy of playing chess in Romania. So we decided to give the most beautiful game prize for US, no, it's not US, sorry, Romanian championships, because she was like in Romania, so we kind of kept it there. And they have those kind of prizes here, so they have upset prizes and class prizes, but I'm happy about the upset ones. So there there will be a best game award and biggest upset overall and biggest upset in each round. So those are additional prizes that people can get, and there will be gift certificates given, and those gift certificates can be used at the US Open Chess Store, which is on site as well. Of course, you guys can find it online at uscfsales.com. However, they're on site, and I gotta mention, they're a little bit difficult to find. So if you're watching, pay close attention because you really want to know where where the store is located. It's not in the Davos Convention Center. It's actually in the Amway Grand Hotel on the lower floor, and it opens today at 11 a.m. as Laird has already posted in the chat. So thank you, Laird, for that. But also, I think it's like really, really, if you want to get something, you can do that. Check out the store and mention our names. Maybe they'll give you a discount. I'm not sure about that, but you can try. You can try. Just be like,
Just start listing off
let's start selling things.
Sabina, Caden, Laird, Pete, boy.
Yeah. No, but anyways, so if you're here, if not, check out the USCF sales website to get some chess related goodies I would recommend some great books. They have a lot of awesome books, and you can purchase them there.
Yeah, I definitely part of the reason Laird put that in chat is because I've been wanting to know to go stop by. So 11 a.m. today, uh, opening soon. So go check it
Yes,
out.
the opening soon.
Es-
Go there, be the first person
oh yeah,
there.
I mean especially for those playing in the 6th day who may already be arriving. I mean you got time till
Good
the
time.
round tonight. So
Exactly. And I believe also if there's some particular book that you want to purchase and they don't have it, you can always ask them about it, and I'm sure that they can have it delivered to you wherever you leave if they did not bring that book. So if they have it in their store, they will get it for you. But yeah, so I'm glad we said that as well. It's important. It's important. We want people to read more. I know some streamers don't emphasize on this, but I do. I think it's very important not to forget about, reading books as well, like physical books, and just playing chess on an actual chessboard is going to continue helping you develop your chess skills. Online is great. It's much faster, of course, but when you put that on the moves on the board, when you read what classical players have said, you just feel like you're understanding, things will make sense. So
yes, yes. Uh, I will switch the scene back to the games, but for Aiden, where is the tourney happening? We are at the DeVos Place Convention Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I mean we have the games up. The games have started.
games have
In
started,
case you
Aiden.
joined us when we were
We were
talking
talking.
about.
We were talking. I feel like when there's a small moment there, I don't know that we will have many more of these moments because games will start being seriously contested, and so we want to be there for that. So I think oftentimes as games get started, we might have a slower pace, but as we get into them, as more time passes, there'll be more interesting things. So we can check out the next board too, if you want. Oh, you want to go to
No,
that
so I
board?
just a quick question. What you think here? Here,
I
this is
like
the
White's
top board of the
position.
Ruth Herring, Yang Yan, our top seed. It is a hour and 32 minutes. However, from looking at the databases, this is just not played like this. Around here, you start getting into the few games, and then you start getting into no games back here on like move 12. So I was just curious on your opinion, Sabina. Do you think this is some brilliant prep, or Ring is just confident in this position?
I gotta tell you, from playing against her two times and also being the head of delegation of the U.S. team at World Youth and having seen her play, I know she seems very confident, and I think she knows her opening. She knows what she plays. She doesn't usually tend to play super main lines, like so it is possible she has some ideas here. I do enjoy White's position. I think that move is good. I'm not quite seeing how Black is going to build up an attack on the queen side, as the queen went back to d8. I think Black kind of went back and forth a little bit. Um, so I'm not really very confident about Black's position at the moment, and I think White is definitely for choice. If she has seen this position before, then no wonder she's playing this fast. But again, I've seen her playing fast, so the important thing for her would be to kind of keep her pace and just make sure she doesn't rush, as she might be getting the advantage.
Yeah, and I do see who's become a bit of our opening expert in chat. Aiden is saying this is theory.
It is.
H4 rook H3
No,
was the
there's
better line. Uh,
when.
that is what I'm wondering. If it was before
Wait,
F5, The one thought I did have as you were talking, just from thinking for black, is how quickly some sort of b5 b4 may be a possibility if you can go for it right now and sacrifice that pawn. Uh, well,
But
you
what
probably
about
have to
yeah.
you probably have to take on f5
Yeah, but
first,
then I
but
will take in d5 too. I mean, I'll get to. I will have the type of position that I had when I won the US Championship. I'm going for a e6, like right away. Nothing to be worried about there.
okay,
I mean, sure,
I'm gonna pretend to the same sort of calm.
okay, the same sort of calm. All right, I'll take knight takes d5. Let's go.
And as we're going through this line, I see Aiden saying, "Yeah, F5
Wrong
is the move."
position. Okay.
Oh, I was set up here. I'm trying to find the reason behind H4, Rook H3, and now I feel like I've stumbled into a trap.
And hi there, Kigrex. Long time no see. Kigrex was on subscribing on my channel quite a lot. I haven't seen him for a really long time. I also haven't really streamed as much,
As
which I
much.
will get back to it. It's a promise. Right now I'm
You heard
here,
it. You
so
heard
so
it
I
here
am.
first.
I'm.
More
Wait,
streams.
what happened to my move?
No,
Oh.
I didn't want to look at that position anymore.
Okay. I see.
I'm
Like,
convinced. I'm
I
convinced.
was enjoying that position.
I I was not.
Okay.
So what
Sorry.
were you saying? The second board? That's
Yes.
what...
Let's go to board 2 in the barber.
I did it for you, Aiden. I did it for you. Tell me H4, H3. Oh,
Eric Fang, I wanted to. Yes, that was the game against Brewington Hardaway. Ooh, he played the. Is this. What's the name of this? Isn't this the Moldovan opening? We call it the Moldovan or something. No, but it goes with e5. Wait, what's d5?
yeah. I think now with D5, it's like a Chigorin.
Chigorin. She went back
So
to
what?
Chigorin, yeah. But what was the Moldovan one? Is usually.
I don't know what to make of this. Yeah, with
Well,
E5, you're saying?
E5, D5. We call it the Moldovan one. I mean, I don't know if that's the name, but a lot of, when I was a kid, a lot of people were playing this, and it's not so clear. It's, of course, it seems very passive for black, but you've attracted white to push E5, and then it comes back to G6, and you have to know what kind of setup to approach, with the white pieces so you get a good position. It's the Mexican defense. Okay, I apologize. We call it the Moldovan. Welcome to a world where everyone has different names for their openings. Hi
Yeah.
there, casual player.
See Knights Tango, Moldovan, Mexican defense. Somewhere I'm saying it's transposed into a Chigorin. It's an opening. I'm gonna run with that.
Okay.
Aiden's saying Brewington showed this to him a month ago, so it's been in his files, but I am not convinced. And I have to say I'm not convinced because this feels so reminiscent of a Grunfeld.
It does. It does.
But this knight's gone back to b6 instead of the very
It's
normal
more
knight
looks
takes
more like
d3.
a Alekhine Grunfeld hybrid.
Yeah.
Hybrid. Alekhine Grunfeld Chigorin hybrid. Like everyone.
Every opening. I guess
3 players, 3 big names in chess. But you know why? I just feel like I've seen something like this being played. It's just tough for black to play c5, which if you don't get that, you're not gonna be happy as a Grunfeld player with a bishop in g7, are you?
No.
Yeah.
No, so you do c5 is usually the more common break, or you get an e5, but the concern with e5 right now is actually this bishop on b5 seems ready to capture on c6 and then simply say thank you for the pawn. And you're probably going to get cramped a little bit, but I mean, what are your options if you really want to win back the pawn?
Could I go c5?
C5,
Queen
queen
f3.
f3.
You don't have a thread though. It looks nice. Your queen looks nice.
Thank you.
um. Okay, I'll just take in d4 since you don't have a threat.
What is it? That didn't need to be emphasized.
I'm sorry.
I
I didn't even.
understand.
I didn't mean it like that. Bishop b7 is possible.
Does appear to be possible.
The Knight's Tango is also known as the Mexican defense, but nobody calls it that Mexican.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe instead of knight takes, should play.
Oh, it does call it Mexican. Lichess calls it the Mexican defense. Wow, I need to tell those Moldovans they have a wrong name for the opening. Clearly.
Why? Takes.
Lichess is wrong. I just feel like I should play in your Grunfeld style idea.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. But I'm like a little like maybe, but I'm also not fully convinced. This is the other move I was thinking about, and
I just feel that
like
in
better.
that way, if I get my bishop out and I take a knight in f3, I will get that pawn, though. How do I do it? Because you do want to trade queens and then potentially knight d4. But I do have the bishop pair, so that's my plus. Could I play knight d5? Is that a choice? I see. So basically my idea was to get my queen, so take in c3 and get my queen to d5, but I'm not liking it right now. And now you want to go rook d1.
Yeah.
No, Caden did not reveal any ideas or setup. He's not ready. He's not sure if he will get back to chess, which
Ah,
because he doesn't share so much, I feel like you guys will have the opportunity to see him back on the board.
well.
Possibly. Possibly.
It I mean,
There's a
possibly,
chance. There's always a chance, right?
you know, also nobody's playing the Grunfeld, so I would be happy to have the discussion, but no one's even bringing the discussion to the table for me. This is the closest thing we've gotten as of yet.
Yeah, it's actually really surprising because like there are a lot of Grunfeld players out there, like in the top players like MVL and Svidler and was Kramnik playing the Grunfeld ever or no?
I
I don't
sometimes
think
I
Kramnik
think
was.
everyone's played it at least one chance or one
Yeah.
time. Like everyone tries the Grunfelds, but very few stay with it.
And Hero is playing the
Commit.
Grunfeld sometimes, doesn't he? I think.
I think so.
And maybe Gwaine? No, Gwaine is King's Indian, right? Gwaine Jones. I think it's King's Indian.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there was a good period where I feel like a lot of top players were playing it. I know Fabiano played the Grunfeld some. I don't want to say Hikaru may have, but yeah, the top
Yeah,
two
he
are
has.
definitely
He has.
MVL and
Because I know a really
Svidler.
game. I know a game that he lost really badly.
Yeah,
So he's
that's
played it. But yeah, he quit.
yeah,
I know MVL quit, but he was playing it. Yes. Yes, I know. I know, Shadow.
yeah. Uh, you know, lightweights.
Yeah, I mean, this position this position I don't know. I don't know. I feel that we're not ready. I like the bishop in b5, though you are giving up the bishop pair. I wonder if for black right now, knight b4 could be an option. The point would be to just, push c5 after. You just get the knight to d5 and then c5 or c6 and just kind of stay solid at the beginning and then see where it takes you.
Yeah, that does answer what would have been my question as to
Why
what
not
else.
play the Grunfeld in the first place if you want to get
No,
this kind of position?
yeah, yes, seriously. No, I was wondering more on the lines of, is there anything except e5? Knight b4 does seem like a good consideration. Although, what if I'm in full Grunfeld mindset now? I'm trying to
Okay.
think, how could I
I still want to play knight d5,
five?
although I could play a5 first. I don't know if a3 would it help black if we attracted a3 to chase the knight back from there, or
I think well, actually, yeah, maybe a5 does make sense because I was thinking if I just play rook d1, you didn't have much in the way of improvement, but bishop e6 is actually starting to look annoying.
yeah, very. You might be losing something
Hurry,
there.
go back,
So
hurry, go back.
maybe a5 is not that bad of a choice there.
Yeah, bishop
But no, I
e6
was
is.
thinking maybe h3 for white to just not allow bishop g4. I don't know why I feel that black should place the bishop there.
No,
So you could.
absolutely. With such a big focus on breaking through white center, this is one of the rare occasions that a bishop trade is
Mm-hmm.
a good idea.
Yeah. Or a5, knight a6, c5. What Chessful is saying is not a bad idea either. But I like my knight in d5 better. I think that takes too many moves with the knight. I think you have to be a little bit faster because.
Yeah, I feel like at some point white should maybe even switch their setup and play e4 and try and
But you know what I was
get
worried
the
about
bishop there.
after a3, like a5, a3. Um,
A5.
sorry, a5 for black. Let's just say we still play a5. If you go a3 and we go the plan that Chessful suggested, I think we can play b4, right? And if you take the pawn, I'll take an a8 and queen a4. You have knight a6 though. Maybe it's not as. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I can't play b4.
I here I was thinking. I think now would be a good time for you for because I want to meet c5 with d5.
Oh, I thought you wanted to take an a6 and c5. I don't think I can play. He played something, but it wasn't what we suggested. He played queen d6.
Interesting. Preparing e5 that way.